So a demo for Project Octopath Traveler released the other day, and I decided to play it. When I saw this game at E3, I wasn't super interested. It looked interesting from an art style standpoint. They have this interesting HD 2D thing that they're calling it. We'll get into that in a little bit. But this demo blew me away, honestly. I'm not really a huge fan of like, I guess, traditional RPGs, but games like Final Fantasy never interested me a whole lot. I played Final Fantasy 13, which was boring as hell, and then I played Final Fantasy 15, which wasn't a traditional RPG. It wasn't turn-based. It was an action RPG, more kind of like Kingdom Hearts, which I love. Kingdom Hearts is one of my favorite series ever. So I really didn't think this game was gonna grab my attention, but essentially the demo lets you play through 2 stories, and for the full release of the game is going to be 8 different characters you can select at the start, and I guess each with their own story, or at least their own kind of origin, and I'm assuming that you'll all kind of meet together for an end goal and the big bad guy. So we get Primrose and we get Ulbrich, that's the one. And right away, so I started with Primrose. She's a dancer, and right away the story just totally pulled me in. There's voice acting in it, and the voice acting is actually pretty darn good. Most of the time when you get voice acting in RPGs and JRPGs, it's not the greatest. There's a couple characters that stand out, and they do a really good job, and then a lot of the other characters are pretty crappy. But this game, just all around, I think the voice acting was pretty good so far, at least for the demo and for the characters that we met. There was one little kid in Ulbrich's storyline where you could tell it was just an adult trying to do a child's voice, and it was a little obnoxious. But the whole Primrose side of the story, more over Ulbrich's, really, like, it brought me in. Her father and her little, like, epilogue was murdered by 3 dudes with crow tattoos, so she swears that she's gonna get revenge, and she's a dancer for this dude who's pretty much a big jerk. One of the crow dudes shows up, and she decides to go after him, and then you end up fighting this guy. And, like, people die, and, like, it's the first hour of the game, and people are already dying, and it's super intriguing. I was just very impressed with how quick it drew me in. I find a lot of games, in general, the intro and the starting point and the tutorial just takes so long, and it just gets super obnoxious and boring. But this game was the opposite. It got in right away. I was fighting, I was using special abilities and whatever, and it was super fun. Now, one thing that really drew me in too was the atmosphere and the music. The music right away from the get-go, right from the title screen, the music starts playing, and it makes you want to go on an adventure. I really just wanted to get in, and I wanted to start exploring, all because of just the, like, title menu song. It's so good. The rest of the music throughout the demo and the atmosphere and everything was super endearing. Like, it really made me feel like I was exploring, like I was this adventure exploring. As for combat, I think it's pretty standard. Like I said, I don't play a lot of RPGs, but I think it's pretty standard for combat in an RPG, but they have this super interesting thing called boost. So essentially, as you are fighting each turn, you get one more, I guess, point on your boost meter, and then you can use those points to unleash stronger attacks. So for example, your regular attack is 1 hit. If you use, let's say, 3 boost points, then you do 3 hits with your attacks. And each enemy has a different weakness too, and once you've figured out that weakness, it'll show next to the enemy. And there's a little shield icon with a number in it. So, for example, if the enemy is weak to a sword and they have a 3 on their shield, you use 3 of your boost points to do 3 hits. Then the 3 numbers on the shield will deplete with each hit, and then the enemy will be in a break stance, and they won't be able to attack for a turn. So I found this, like, simple little addition just really kind of quickened the pace of combat, which I find is one of the reasons I don't like RPGs a lot, is it feels a little slow. But with this boost, like, I was really trying to plan out, you know, when to use my boost and, like, what I can do while I'm trying to save up this boost, if I should defend, or if I should just throw another attack in, or if I needed to heal. And each character also has their own different abilities and special attacks. So Primrose, she does, like, dark magic, and Ulbrich, he's a swordsman, right? So he does big slashes and spear attacks, stuff like that. I think having 8 different characters that eventually you'll be able to kind of swap in and out with your party I think is really cool. Another reason I'm not a huge fan of RPGs is they're super complicated, at least from what I've seen, at least the ones that I've tried. And it seems like in this game, everything's just kind of simplified, kind of like how Pokemon is. Pokemon is super simple. At least when I first started, it was fairly simple. You have your fire, your water, your grass. Fire beats grass, grass beats water, and water beats fire. It's easy. So in this game, it seems kind of similar. This enemy is weak to sword attacks, so use your sword attacks and he'll go down. I'm not sure if there's going to be like class systems or anything in it, but I really kind of hope there isn't, because class systems, for me at least, just it overcomplicates things. I'd rather just have this character does fire magic. I'm going to use this character for fire magic. This character is a healer. I'm going to swap this character in for healing. Keeping it simple like that for me would be a huge plus. So the art style for this game, they're calling it HD 2D, and I think that is probably the best description for it. So all the environments are kind of in 3D, but all of the character designs and the enemies and stuff are sprite designs. And it looks really good. I think it looks great together. It keeps everything simplistic, which again, I enjoy. None of the maps and dungeons in the demo were super, labyrinthian, which again, I like. I like exploration in game, but I don't like when the exploration overwhelms the progression of the game. Also, really don't like when if you are progressing through a game and you go through a certain point and you're unable to go back and continue exploring what you explored before. And I noticed in this, at least in the demo and the little dungeons that you start with, is there's often a save point right before there's a cutscene, so it's kind of a sign that, okay, something's coming up here, you should save or go back and finish exploring this dungeon before you continue on. And that was a huge plus. Lots of save points is always good in an RPG. So this game just really came out of nowhere for me. I was never really interested in the first part, and then after Nintendo's Nintendo Direct the other day, and they're like, oh, there's a free demo? I was like, all right, I'll try the demo. Maybe I'll like it, and I really, really did like it. The story so far seems like it's going to be super intriguing. I like the characters so far. The voice acting is good. The game looks really pretty. The music, oh man, the music was so good, and I really hope that the whole game just continues with this trend of, music that makes you want to go adventure, and, it draws you in. And music is a huge part of games for me, and that's one reason I love the Legend of Zelda series so much, is because of the music. There's so many iconic songs from that series, and I think this game's going to have lots of really nice music to listen to while I am out adventuring and fighting bad guys. It definitely seems like they're putting more of an emphasis on exploration and traveling as well, which is right up my alley. So I am far more excited for this game than I ever thought I would be. And I think Square Enix is off to a good start with this game, and I definitely think that this is going to be something that I'll be playing a lot of in the future. So that's just a little look at the demo for Project Octopath Traveler. If you have a Switch of your own, definitely check it out. Each of the storylines takes you about an hour, so it's a decent amount of time for a demo. A lot of it is dialogue, but like I said, the story is pretty interesting, and the combat is super fun, so it's just a good little taste and doesn't give too much away before the full game is released, but can still give you a feel for if you like the game or if you don't, and if you want to pick it up or not. So thank you for watching, guys. If you enjoyed that, hit that like button, hit that subscribe. I'll be doing more video game videos as we go here, and as more demos come out and more games come out for the Switch. Bye.